Hey world, back in the office, but at least we're 3 for 3, right? Three videos in a row. This is doing good. I had full intentions to film outside. In fact, I did film outside. Just around sundown, my son and I went outside to feed the cows and the horses, and I had my iPhone, and I was just like da 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 da, and recording some stuff that I thought I'd share real quick, and didn't really have a plan, just wanted to get it done and put something out there for today. So I had 3 videos nailed down, and when I got back into the house to put the footage on my computer to upload to YouTube, I discovered that there was no audio. Check this out. What is that? I didn't even know you could turn the microphone off on the phone, but supposedly you can. At least the video video recording software that I use. I have Blackmagic's video app, and it works great. Like, it's amazing. There's so much more stuff you can do with it than just the basic app that comes on your phone. But I didn't know that in the settings there was a way to turn the microphone off. You just set it to no audio. And why would you? I don't even know why you would do that. Why don't you just record the audio no matter what and throw it away after? But anyway, you can turn it off, and it was turned off. I looked back at the videos I had filmed previously on it, and none of them had it turned off, so I don't even know how the setting got changed. But yeah, no audio on that footage. So, but what I wanted to talk about this evening, or what I was trying to talk about this evening when I was out feeding the animals, is child labor. I believe that child labor is good. Oh, I hope this gets me in trouble. No, I don't want to get in trouble. Hopefully this does not get me in trouble. Oh man, 3 videos in and they shut down my channel. No, I know the laws we have today and the protection of children is very important, and I totally agree with that. But I think it's gone to the other extreme where we don't allow children to work. We don't challenge them. They don't go out with their fathers and their mothers and work with them. Like, I would love to be able to take my son and go to a job and take him to a job site every once in a while. But it's completely illegal. Like, he'd have to sit in the truck the whole day. And I have taken him on some jobs, more personal jobs, not necessarily company stuff. You know, if we were doing work at my brother's house, he worked a lot with me when we were building my parents' house. And he will work all day like a grown man. Like, he's, you know, when he was 9 years old and we were working on my parents' house, I would wake him up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'd get some coffee on the way. I'd get him decaf, even though he didn't know that. He thought I was getting regular coffee, but I would get him decaf coffee, and he'd have his coffee and his breakfast sandwich, and we work all day at my parents' house, carpentry, construction, building the roof, whatever. And he learned how to run a man lift. So he was running a man lift when he was, 9 years old. And now I've taught him how to use the excavator. So he's 11 now. Let me back up for a second. Last year, when Hurricane Helene happened, this is probably with him, it's definitely one of my most special moments with him. And that was the fact that when Hurricane Helene happened, I was able to go and spend 3 weeks doing hurricane relief down there. And the 3rd week, he was with me, and we spent an entire week at a place called Camp Miller down this little valley in North Carolina that was just decimated. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I have footage of that. I have amazing footage of that stuff that we filmed when we were down there, and things we did and people we met. I never posted it because it felt too clickbaity. Like, it was such a hot deal when it was going on. I didn't want to ride that wave. There was something in me that just, it didn't sit right. Like, I knew if I had made a Hurricane Helene relief video of some kind, it probably would have done really well. And even though what I had for footage and what I had for a message was really good, I don't know, I just couldn't get past the idea of it being a little, I don't know, clickbaity, gimmicky. And so I never made a video about it. And Now I look back and I don't know if that was the correct decision. I think I definitely should have, and I kind of regret that I didn't. I did post some things on Facebook. I don't know if I posted them to the Creation Bound page on Facebook or just to my personal page. I have to actually go back and look at that and see what I did. But anyway, that time working with my son for that week was just an amazing experience. And he got to learn so much and do so much. And because of the way I had raised him already, where he'd worked construction with me, where he had done hard things, and he's a very active physical boy to begin with. Like there is no sit down and play video games all day with Tristan. Although he's getting to an age now where he's becoming addicted to screen time, and I got to really stay on top of him because he will sit and watch YouTube for hours on end if you let him. But then he'll go play outside and you can't get him in the house. He'll go out before dawn and be out after dark, and you can't get him back in the house. And he'll work all day like that with me. He'll be right there with me working away. And yeah, that time working the hurricane, after the hurricane, was a really, really special time, really incredible. There's still thoughts and emotions I have from that entire experience that I haven't even fully processed, I don't think. And maybe I will make a video about that at some point, because it was really amazing, and it's getting, kind of, I don't know, long in the tooth. It's been way too long. I should have made a video. I should have put something together a long time ago. So maybe in this new spirit and era of Creation Bound, and I'm making a video a day, I will get on it and start planning and start working through and taking the footage and making it into something. And eventually sometime this year, I'll drop a video for one of my videos a day about the experience we had down helping out after Hurricane Helene. Okay, that all being said, let's go back to the child labor thing. I think it's important. I don't think it's right to treat children as the way we treat children today, as if they can't do anything. They're super fragile and they're going to get broken. We don't challenge. I don't have anything against organized sports. If that's all you can get your kids into, great. If you live in the suburbs, the city, whatever, they don't have a lot of like outdoor play time because of the environment you live in, then sports is a great outlet. But beyond that, I think it's even better for them to have unstructured free time just being outdoors and challenging themselves physically in nature. Years ago, I read the book when it first came out, The Last Child in the Woods, The Nature Deficit Disorder by Richard Louv. And that was a fantastic book. Agreed with everything in it. It was kind of like, well, I found it very interesting and an awesome book, and I agree with it. It's like stuff that I kind of already intuitively knew, like the idea of like we're losing these outdoor nature free time experiences in our children today, and that it's very important psychologically and developmentally. And so the basic premise of the book I already agreed with. It wasn't something new to me, something I knew intuitively and experienced in my life growing up, because I grew up in the mountains of West Virginia, riding horses, fishing, hunting, hanging out outside. From the time I was 14 years old to the time I was 17, there was a year or two in there that I only spent like cumulative, like 2 weeks sleeping indoors, a year. So there was like a whole year I went sleeping outside almost all the time, and living in the woods, in the fields with the horses and everything. I was homeschooled and didn't have a job. There really were no jobs down there when we were kids, so it wasn't like you could just go into town and get a job at some. It was either the coal mines or logging or something like that. I used to bale hay for a guy, so I used to bale hay for a local farmer down the road. And so from the time I was, 14 or 15 years old, I used to ride my horse down to his farm, and then I'd spend the whole day baling hay with them out in the fields. And that's a lot of hard work. And I got paid like $10 a day for doing that. There's some child labor for you. But anyway, going back to the whole thing, I think it's important for us to challenge our kids and our kids to have jobs and to actually physically work and do adult things. Even as little kids, they should be involved in adult things. like that, like construction, like baking, like cooking, like housekeeping, yeah, all the kind of practical, vocational carpentry, mechanical stuff, outdoor stuff, even office work and stuff. Like, I just the idea that they're just kids and they need to play, I don't buy it. I think they need to be challenged. Anyway, so here's some footage of Tristan running the excavator. I taught him how to do this kind of the beginning of this year. So he's getting pretty good at running it, and I let him do some stuff in it now. We're feeding the animals and stuff around the homestead, and yeah, it gives him something that he's very proud of. That's the other thing. Like, it just giving them something like this that actually has significance and like purpose, that an adult would do, like running the excavator and feeding the animals. When a child does that, there's a sense of like pride, accomplishment, self-worth that you can't get from just playing video games or going to school. Or I don't even know about sports. I never played organized sports, so I don't know what that's like. I really can't speak on that. So it wasn't really something that I was exposed to. I honestly had no desire for it at all, and I never was exposed to it, so I can't really... Well, I shouldn't say that. I did play baseball when I was very little. My dad was the coach of the local baseball team, and I did enjoy that a lot. I enjoyed the time with my father. I enjoyed the friends I made, and playing baseball, and there was definitely some accomplishment and self-esteem and everything built on that, especially when you're doing really good and you win a game. That's just it's an amazing feeling. I still think working all day and being tired and exhausted at the end of the day and seeing what you accomplished and that it had a purpose and a meaning and furthered something in life, whether it's building a house for someone or helping your parents do something around the homestead or whatever. I just think there's something just astronomically important about that. And before I really started having all these kids, we had a couple. I don't know exactly when the book was written, but when I read the book John Adams by David McCullough, love that book, by the way. That's an amazing biography, just absolutely amazing. And so if you ever get the chance, if you've never seen the book, if you've never read the book, John Adams by David McCullough, highly recommend it. But in that book, McCullough is explaining or describing a time where John Adams is going off what's the word? Anyway, he's going off to Europe, I believe France, on behalf of America. And his son is 10 years old, John Quincy Adams. And him and his Abigail decided, I think this would be good for him to go along on this trip. Be a good life experience for him as a 10-year-old boy. The letter that Abigail Adams writes to her son, John Quincy Adams, that David McCullough puts in the book, the excerpts from the letter she wrote to her son. If you didn't know, if you were just told this is a letter from a mother to her son, you would think this mother was writing to a boy who is like going off to war or college or something much more older and mature than 10 years old. And that letter really struck me. The way that she spoke to her son, articulated things, stressed his responsibility and the experience, how good this experience is going to be, and the way he should be learning from this and paying attention to it, and the man that he's going to become and everything. It's just, it's not something that somebody today would write to a 10-year-old child. It was very mature and responsible. It just struck me as like, man, we don't talk to our kids like that anymore. We don't treat them that way. We don't look at them that way. They're just children. Go play now. You're a kid. You can't run a chainsaw. No, that's not for you. That's for adults. Just a completely different tone in how she approached speaking to and giving advice to her son at 10 years old. It was, that really struck me, stuck with me. And I've always felt very strongly that my kids are going to be involved in whatever I'm doing, and that it's important that they are involved in that it's going to develop them into much more resilient, robust, responsible, capable adults that are hopefully physically and emotionally well-rounded and I don't know what strong individuals. So anyway, that is what I was trying to record outside on my phone. Obviously, it wasn't that long-winded because it was cold and we had work to do, so I was pretty quick about it. But yeah, so don't treat your children like children. And I'm gonna throw a couple of clips. Right here, Tristan is moving the excavator back up the hill. And we're gonna watch him for a second because he's got a problem solve here. It's a big machine, especially for a little kid. The ice is very slippery. The tracks are studded, but they still slip. Excavators slide. You would think the tracks do better in the snow than they do, but they're actually extremely slippery and have almost no traction on ice and snow. And so I have the rubber tracks studded with little carbide studs, but they still slip and slide quite a bit. And right now, because of the ice storm we had last week, this hillside is completely just all ice. And so we're gonna see how he does going up the hill. His problem is that he can't reach the foot pedals and run the controls for the bucket at the same time. Otherwise, he could reach out, stick his bucket down, and pull himself up with the bucket while he tracked backwards, but his legs aren't long enough to reach the foot pedals, so he can't run the tracks and the bucket at the same time. So we gotta see what he does here. So he resets and he gets himself lined up, the tracks lined up slightly off to the side a little bit on some snow and not on the glare ice, everything that he had just scraped smooth right there. And he makes it, he gets it up the hill. So here's some shots of the moon, the animals. The moon was coming up over the hill. It was pretty awesome as we were feeding. It really looked really cool. And yeah, so get out there, challenge your children, treat them like adults responsibly. We got to have wisdom, and that's something I should have mentioned. You know, I do think it's important that we challenge them, let them do dangerous things, but as parents, we need to have wisdom and understand the capabilities that our children have. And for instance, you know, there's things I'm going to let Tristan do and be involved with that I'm not going to let my 5-year-old be involved with or do. As adults, we need to have wisdom in how we approach this, but I definitely think it's important that you get your kids out there and challenge them and do hard things with your kids and do adult things. And not everything needs to be just play and fun and be a kid. In fact, I find that so wrong. I think being a kid, you can be a kid and be doing adult things. And imagine the possibilities if you have an individual who is doing important things, building, construction, whatever, doing adult things, but also has the energy and the creativity and the imagination of a child coming together. Think of the partnership you could have, the things it could unlock, the potential there of like the energy, creativity mixed with the responsibility. Like if you had the adult personality, responsibility, discipline mixed with the whole, you know, child energy, vision and imagination, and they haven't learned that, you know, that's impossible, you can't do that kind of stuff. It's like when you're a kid, everything's possible. So just imagine what it could unleash if you had that partnership in your family or in life in general, if we could do that in society. So anyway, it's enough rambling for tonight. Let's get this video uploaded and yeah, get outside. And soon, at some point, I'm gonna film something out there. All right, good evening, everybody. We'll see you next time.